Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the San Diego Bass Fishing Podcast. Boy, we had a lot of stuff happen this past weekend and this past week as far as bass fishing tournaments goes. We just did the podcast with Tom Lowry, who finished seventh at the Western Outdoor News Open at Lake Mead. Congratulations, Tom. That was killer finish, and Tom goes into some great detail on what he did to make that happen. And so be looking forward to that one. Tonight we have Cody and Erin Crist, and they just won the top six tournament. Well, they were part of the winning team of the top six tournament this past weekend on Saturday at El Capitan. The San Diego Council of Bass Clubs holds this top six tournament every year, and it is essentially the top six members and points for every club in San Diego. And this year we had 11 clubs, total of, so that's 33 boats, two people per boat. And the Hookers Bass Club took top honors. And we're going to be talking with them shortly, but just a couple more things. Let's see here. I have something I'm really excited about is it looks like, don't hold me to this because we haven't done it yet, but tomorrow night I'm recording Andre Casey and Tony Santiago at the same time for a podcast, which will probably come out next week or something like that. And that's going to be a really big deal. That'll be a lot of fun to do. I'm really looking forward to that one. But as far as upcoming tournaments goes, we have the juniors tournament, first open tournament on the 28th, next Saturday, essentially at Otay. It's $100 to enter. The juniors need to be on their own team, find their own boat. There's two junior members under in the high school age or younger, and then they find a boat. It's $100 to enter. It's at Lower Otay Lake. Need to get your entry fees into Sean before this Thursday on the 26th. And we'd like to see you guys out there. These are qualifying tournaments for to go to nationals next year or this coming year. There's going to be a total of 5, I believe. Yeah, there's going to be 5 open tournaments down here in San Diego. It's like a whole another season. And this is really, we're doing this, or Sean is doing this for the kids that didn't, well, it's for the kids that want to try to qualify for nationals, but it's also for the kids that haven't gotten into the juniors club, the SoCal Juniors Club, which is only a limited entry of 40 kids right now. Hopefully we can expand upon that, but it's that's a whole different deal. So anyway, these open tournaments are open to kids, $100 each next weekend. We have, the National Bass West TOC Tournament of Champions is happening at Havasu next weekend on the 27th, 28th. Let's see here. San Diego Bass Masters was at Otay on Sunday, yesterday. First place went to Ryan Kuiper. Congratulations, Ryan, on your first club win. And we knew it wasn't a chance of when it was going to happen or if it was going to happen. It was a chance of when it was going to happen for Ryan. He puts in a lot of time out there. He's very into it. Has a good big Instagram following. And Ryan Kuiper took the win. He had about, I can't remember the exact weights, but it was like 13.57 for the total. And then second place was it was me, and I had 13.32 for second place, and then my backseater took third place, Brandon Marino, and he had a couple of dead fish, unfortunately, which knocked his weight down from like 12.27 or 12 and a half pounds to like the high 11s, and that was interesting. Otay really kind of took a dump here in the last week. The breakers kind of went away. All the forward-facing sonar fish didn't want to bite, and it ended up being a worm game for us. for Brandon and I anyway. We got on some work. I like to say we failed fast in the fact that we started out with A-rigs and reaction baits, and we went down one shoreline and we saw that it was different. And we should have been getting some kind of action. We got nothing, and there was very little stuff on the forward facing telling me that the fish weren't into it. Like they weren't into the whole A-rig thing. They had been on. It was good A-rig fishing their last couple weeks, so at the end of that little bank that we went down, first little stretch, we switched up tactics right away. Went to a worm and started fishing worm in about 8 feet of water, and immediately started catching fish. We limited out here in the first hour, and we started culling. It was pretty good fishing there for a little while. Then it tapered off, and we ran around the lake, picked away at them a little bit, and then we did get on some breaking fish on another part of the lake there in the afternoon. And that they were very responsive. I shouldn't say very responsive. They were responsive. We did catch some on breakers and sonar fish in the afternoon, but it wasn't near as what it was. So anyway, that's basically how that day went. It was nice to be out. It's always fun to fish with the club. San Diego Bassmasters. It's the San Diego's largest club, largest and oldest competitive bass fishing club. We have 36 active members right now. We usually put about 16 to 20 boats on the lake on each tournament. If we are open to new applicants, if you'd like to join, you can get a hold of me, or you can get a hold of our membership guy, Kenny Lewis. You can go to our website. Our website's constantly updated. San Diego Bassmasters, and we hold general meetings once a month, every first Tuesday of the month, and we have 10 tournaments a year. There is membership dues. You have to go through a vetting process to get in the which is not tough. It's a little long, but it's not tough. Go through a vetting process to get in the club, and we're looking for new members. We top out at 50, so we're looking for 15 new members. If you'd like to join us, welcome to come to our meetings. It's in La Mesa, like I said, on the first Tuesday of every month. Everybody is welcome to general membership meetings, and we'd love to see you. Sometimes we have speakers, sometimes we don't. We've had some great speakers in the past, but it's always a great fellowship to be around bass anglers, at our meetings. So come on down, join us, San Diego Bassmasters. Let's see here. Next month, coming up into October, we have the Western Outdoor News Open, U.S. Open at Mojave on the 14th through the 16th. And that's about it, other than club tournaments I have written down right now. Looking forward to getting hold of Erin and Cody, and we'll get to it.
So how's everything going in Ramona?
Good. Warm again.
Yeah? Is it cooling off?
A little bit. It's still pretty warm.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, you guys, for your TOC victory.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Are you guys ready? Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, let's roll.
Okay, well, welcome back to San Diego Bass Fishing Podcast. Today we have Erin and Cody Crist, the Hammers that won decisively this weekend at the top 6 tournament held by the San Diego Council of Bass Clubs. Congratulations, guys. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back, Cody, to the podcast.
Thank you, and thanks for having me along with him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to have you on here anyway, so it's great to have you guys. So, Erin, where did you get your start? Have you been bass fishing? Tell me a little bit about where you started before we get into the whole meat of things.
Yeah, I was just a kid that grew up in Lakeside, fishing the San Diego River as a kid, trying to ride my bicycle everywhere I could, occasionally going to Santee Lakes. By the time I was in high school, in between baseball practices, for the high school team, I'd run over to the pond back behind Cactus Park and run down there and fish. Start off fishing shiners, and then slowly graduated into artificials.
Mm-hmm.
Probably wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I took my first stab at going out and fishing a real tournament, and had a partner that I fished with, and we thought we were pretty good worm fishermen. Well, little did we know.
Until you put it up against somebody else.
Well, it was in November.
Yeah.
And it was on San Vicente, and we took a serious butt whipping by guys throwing little Georges.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So from there, just started fishing a lot of the ABAs and also the Bass Council night tournaments when they were in town, and just kind of kept progressing from there. And I think a couple of years later, back in 2000, I joined Hooker's Bass Club and been with them ever since.
So, the Hookers Bass Club, they've been around for like 30 years, right?
I think even longer than that. I know
40 years.
I know Cody posted about the top 6 results, and Buck Buchanan, who was probably the oldest member that was in the club when I first joined, he actually responded and said that Hooker's Bass Club has been around for over 50 years.
Is that right? Wow. Wow. And it's just, it really saddens me to hear that you guys, this might be your last top 6 this year.
Yeah, it might be. And it is sad, for myself, for current members. I'm the longest standing member. Like I said, I joined in 2000 and fished the top 6 every year and look forward to that tournament. So it just, it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? We lost a lot of guys back during 2008, 2007, 2008, when the recession hit. We had some guys that were out of work. Some people moved. Some people went through divorces. And that's about the beginning of the decline for our because we were running about 20 strong at that point. And it just slowly kind of has been fizzling out.
Yeah. No, it's like the sign of times, or just the way the whole club fishing thing has been going overall. I mean, we used to have 22 clubs in San Diego, and now we're down to 11 at the top 6.
Yeah. It's a real bummer. It seems like there's more people on the water, just less people fishing club.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's the same amount of people. It's still crowded. It's crowded as ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you go on a Tuesday at El Cap and you're like, man, this place is packed, when you think everyone would be at work.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I went on a Friday the other day, last week, and I couldn't believe how many boats. There was a line getting in, and I had to wait in line to launch the boat first thing in the morning. Yeah, it was nuts. So how have you been, Cody? Fishing a lot?
Yeah, I've been good. Been fishing a lot, trying to get ready for the top 6, and then trying to get myself in a good state of mind going into the U.S. Open and heading back east for the Toyota Series Championship. So I've been trying to get on the water as much as I can, get my confidence, nice and high, because when you go and compete against all these guys that are, just absolute hammers all across the West Coast, and going to the championship, it's going to be all across the, the nation, the world in reality. So got to get mentally prepared.
Yeah. Have you, I know this whole thing, this other tournament series is up north in Northern California, mostly it seems like, but have you considered the Bass Angler Magazine tour?
Well, I did get the invite for the Pro Tour, but as great as it sounds when you look at first place of $50,000, I looked at where would they go? You go to all these lakes, I'd be competing against basically all the top Western guys. All the lakes are within a couple hours of their home territory. So all these guys know the lakes. And if you really look at the entry fee to the payout, to me, it wasn't worth it. I know my odds are very slim to be finishing in that top 5 where the money's at. So when you look at a $2,500 entry fee, for 4 events, and then a $2,500 entry for the championship, and all these tournaments are far away. Yeah. In these guys' backyard, it makes it a lot harder for me to consider it, especially. And I believe the one tournament was all the way up at the Columbia River, which is
It
what
was.
going to be like, yeah, it's like 17, 18 hours away.
Oh yeah. Oh, at least. I think
That's
it's more
like,
like 22.
yeah,
I
that's
think
like,
it's further. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah, it's probably 17 hours. I was
so,
thinking it was top end of Washington, but it's not.
yeah. So
Yeah.
for those guys up there, it's like, 7, 8, 9 hour drive for most of them. But for me
Yeah.
down here, it's going to be like a 20-hour drive, and my odds aren't that great. So, it's something I've considered, but I look at where I'm at in life at this point. It's a lot of money and a lot of risk. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know it's a long ways away. So, all right. Well, you got the U.S. Open coming up, so you're going to do that at Mojave.
yes, yep,
Yeah. That'll be a good one. That'll be great. We
you're
hope to
gonna
see
be there.
we hope to see your name up there in the top echelon.
That'd be
If
awesome.
not, just win it. Just go and win it. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
That would help the podcast out a lot because I'm going to grab you and put you on. We'll be at a national level at that point then.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of winning, you guys won this last weekend, and can you tell me how you did it? I saw Cody out there a bunch, so I know he was practicing. I know. You guys said it was just junk fishing, but somehow I think you had an idea of what was going on at Cap.
I'll say what I thought I was gonna do for my main pattern, which was it was gonna be the offshore, the schooling fish, the
Yeah.
busters, looking at them on my target. And come tournament day, that for myself really fizzled out. I could catch some doing it, but every single one that I caught was 2 pounds or smaller. My biggest one I caught was a little over 2.25. And so for me, I kind of had to, throw that all out the window and go try and do some other stuff that I really didn't get a lot of practice at. So like for myself, I looked at the start time when they sent out the email or whatever of all the details and what time we're going to be launching and taking off. I looked at how early we were taking off, and I looked at that as a window of opportunity to go throw reaction baits. Because for myself, I haven't been getting to the lake until about 6:45 or 7. And when they said launching and blasting off at 6 to 6:15, I thought, great, low light, let's go burn bank and let's go try and get some good bites. And that's what we did. We went over to the North Shore and we just started cranking down it. And within 15 minutes, we had 13 pounds and had like 10 fish in the boat.
Jesus.
So we came up on a stretch, where it was almost every cast, and we got our limit really quick. So that's how my day started. And then after that, really the first 20 minutes was good, and then we burned bank for about the next probably a little over an hour, and we never had a bite. So that morning window, that first 20 minutes was killer. We had a couple 3-pounders and a couple smaller than that, and then after that tried to chase the schooling thing for probably the next 3 hours or so. And
Yeah, I saw you out there. I saw you looking.
yeah, I want to say we caught like 15 fish between 3 different areas, and all of them were small.
Yeah.
They weren't what they were the weekend before.
Yeah.
And then so I think we had about 2 hours left to go, and I told my buddy, I said, let's just go worm. I got some worm spots where I've been able to get a couple bites. Each spot seemed like it was like 1, maybe 2 bites. And you didn't know how big it was going to be. Had a couple good bites in practice doing that, but some of them were also small. So I said, let's go through all our cards in that and spend the last 2 hours, and ended up working out. With an hour left to go, we caught a 4.5-pounder, and then in the last hour or 45 minutes, we caught 2 more over 3 pounds. And so that ended up putting us at 17. I think we had 17, 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Huge, great bag. Great bag for right now.
yeah. It definitely like I said, to me, things changed a lot compared to the previous weekends. You know, I thought that schooling fish you could go get anywhere from 14 to 16 pounds, depending on how lucky you were, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it just was not happening for that deal for myself, at least.
Yeah.
Um,
What about you, Aaron? You were by yourself, weren't you?
I was by myself. I had
Yeah.
about 4 hours of practice, you know, at least 2 weeks ago. That's all the practice I could get in. I've been hitting the ocean quite a bit lately, just kind of trying out something new. So not much practice for me. Some information, you know, that I gathered from Cody and also from Colton Baker in our club, who put in a bunch of time on practice, and he got on a good reaction bite that he was getting all day. So first thing in the morning, I ran a section of bank along the south shoreline, you know, directly across from the north shoreline. There as you head into Caneos, and I had 4 fish off of that in the first 15 minutes, but nothing like they were catching. I think it took me probably an hour into the day before I got my 5th fish, and I was sitting on maybe 10 pounds. From there, you know, we run into each other on the water and decided, hey, you know, he's going to go check the north end. I'm going to go back up front. I went up front, and there's a couple guys out there looking around in the live scope, but didn't see him catching anything. I idled all the way in towards the docks, still didn't see anything, started coming back out, and the fish started busting around me. First cast on a gunfish, have a fish blow up on it, doesn't connect. I look down at my meter, and there's just spaghetti. So I broke out the ice jig, and I called out every fish I had in the box with the ice jig. You know, nothing over 3 pounds, but all between 2.5 and 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So didn't have the great bag, but 13.5 pounds was pretty good for me with not much practice. But the rest of the day, I struggled. Once the ice jig bite died, I could not catch a bigger fish and call up at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all in all,
what was your third boat? What was their weight?
I think I want to say he had 1663.
Or he had a 16-pound bag too.
He had 1668, and he had a dead fish, and that knocked him down to 1643.
Man, that's a hell of a. You guys did great. You really did. It was like you're on a different lake.
Yeah, it was a team effort. It was definitely a team effort, and you know, I appreciate Cody and Colton both putting in the time to help get us kind of dialed in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Colton put in a lot of time. He was out there basically every day that the lake was open. I'm sure you'd seen him out there. He actually has a champion, kind of like yours. It's a dark blue, older champion. I want to say.
Oh yeah. I was wondering who that was.
Yeah. And his deal is throwing crankbait. So he basically put all his can of worms and throwing a crankbait, and he threw that thing all day long. And we would run into him during the day, and he's like, "Oh, cold up again. Oh, cold up again." It was just slow and steady.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's
awesome.
He pulled through for sure.
Yeah. So, are you guys considering going to another club?
You know, for me, it's
kind of a change of subject. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Maybe I shouldn't have been so abrupt.
No. It's something that for myself that I've been thinking about, and I'm probably going to continue to think about it for a while. You know, we do have a place down there on the Colorado River, and I would like to spend some more time fishing down there and learning that better.
Mm-hmm.
So I may take some time off, but I haven't made that decision yet.
Yeah.
All
right.
It's one of those things where club was one of the things that I would try and fit in between my bigger tournaments, whether it was, you know, National Bass, which is a little bit bigger here, or the Toyota Series. And
mm-hmm.
like I said before in previous podcast, you know, I work a lot. So it was just an extra thing that, you know, I got to do and more than anything, I've done it, because my dad, he got me into it. And like I said, I've been a part of this club since I was 11 years old, and it's something that I've wanted to try and keep alive. But, it's something that I would like to keep alive, but I don't have the time and effort to be able to put into it like it needs. So, yeah, I'm kind of, I'd consider it, but I think for the most part, I'm just going to focus on my bigger stuff, and kind of go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, so I have a question for that I bring up to like all the guests, and I think I've started after Cody's last podcast with us, and that would be the one question, or what is, and this is each of you can answer it. What is the one bait that you fall back on when things get tough?
It's a tough one. I feel like it depends on the lake.
And for me,
I've been really surprised by some of the answers. Some guys I always consider to be like, oh yeah, it's like a 6-inch drop shot or whatever, something really basic. But some of the guys give me some really off the wall stuff.
yeah, I think for me, it's maybe partially time of year based. I like to throw the Carolina rig, and I could throw that almost year round.
Yeah.
But dead of winter and middle of summer, I love the ice jig. I'll go out there for the jig.
Is that right? Yeah.
Up till my arm falls off.
Yeah. Nice. I was trying that. I found that those big schools in practice, and I saw one during the tournament, but I couldn't get them to go on the ice jig. But I could sink out an A rig and catch them that way, like 30 feet down, out in the middle.
That's a fun bite.
They were moving so fast during the tournament. Like, even though I didn't see a lot of
boat pressure,
but when I did, man, it was like you point your active target at them, and they're just You have to make like 15 casts, at least for myself, to try and land on them, and even then, you're like skimming their tails instead of skimming their noses.
Yeah, yeah, I saw the same thing. The one huge school that I found during the tournament on tournament day on Saturday, I got that one shot at them, and then I could never find them again.
Yeah,
and it was.
They were moving quick.
Yeah, yeah, they were.
During the tournament, the ice jig fish that I caught, they were all in smaller schools and only one out of the school, and that's all you could do.
Oh yeah,
moving too fast to stay on top of them.
Yeah, yeah. So what's your fallback bait, Cody, that you fall back on when things get tough?
I will be honest, I am probably one of those basic guys. I probably am right in there with a drop shot or a Senko.
Yeah, yeah.
That maybe not always like that, but with the forward-facing sonar, it's, especially with the drop shot, the amount of accuracy you can have with it and put it in front of a fish. And obviously it's such a natural technique that, to me, you can get a lot of those fish that won't bite and make them bite. And same thing with the Senko, A Senko is just, all about a Senko, especially at Sandview or any of our lakes.
Mm-hmm.
You go through a regular Senko, thin Senko, 4-inch Senko, 6-inch Senko, they all get bit, and you can't beat it when the conditions are tough.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, right on. Yeah, it sounds like you'll probably be doing some drop shotting here at the U.S. Open next month.
I'd rather not. It's not one of my favorite techniques, but I will fall back on it,
For the last 2 years, that's what it took. That's what they wanted on the last couple of years.
Well, then hopefully it's windy and they can't throw it. And because when it's windy, I don't fall back on a drop shot. When it's windy, I fall back to chatterbaiting or cranking.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it sounds like Billy Egan came on yesterday or whatever, just after the meet open, and he was talking about Mojave conditions, and it sounds like they already dropped the level of the lake, so it's going to be stable for 2-3 weeks before the tournament, so that's going to help a lot.
Yes, I'm stoked to hear that, because that's one less factor that I got to try and weigh in, because I've never been to Mojave. So
oh wow, okay.
So,
we love Mojave. Our club goes there. We've gone there in the past. We used to go every year, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get permits, national Nevada parks and this and that, for club tournaments. And Catherine's Landing can be, not for your tournament, not for the US Open, that takes priority, but for smaller tournaments, they can be real particular, I guess you could say. But Mojave, but we all love Mojave. Love it. Love it. A lot of dead water. But when you find them, you're on them.
It sounds a lot like Havasu. Besides,
yeah.
not always a Havasu. When you find them, you're on them. Sometimes it's like, oh, I found one or two, but the next day they're all gone.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fun. I love it. I love Mojave. I've always done well there. I'm not going to be fishing the Open, unfortunately, this year, but maybe a last minute thing will come up and I'll shoot over there and be a backseater or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll get you out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's make a great podcast. We're really getting a lot of good feedback from people coming in the store and just saying it's a great podcast and how they love it and how they love that it's local, that they hear stuff about our local lakes and winning strategies and whatever. So thank you for coming on.
We like watching the podcast too, and we appreciate you doing this. I think it is a big boost for San Diego fishermen to be able to see stuff like this, and to be able to share some of the local knowledge. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I always get a kick out of it. It's kind of funny, it's like, oh, people aren't watching it or people aren't listening to it. And then somebody comes in the store and says, hey, that podcast is great. And it always gives me a little boost to get on the phone and ask people. Because not everybody says yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that more people listen than you even realize, like even for myself, I've had random people come up to me and say, oh, you're blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I had no clue that you knew
right?
me. I didn't know that I knew you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's a small world. And I guarantee you're impacting more people than you even realize. And, you're reaching more people than you realize. So it's a good thing.
Right on. All right. Well, we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks again for coming on. And I wish you best for your upcoming tournaments. And I'll see you guys out on the lake.
All righty.
Right,
Thank
thanks,
you much.
Bruce.
We'll see you soon.
Okay. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.